the quality of MPs has gone down. If you compare the 6th and 7th parliament, where you had from Orango people like Ben Wacha, Dr. Okolo Park, Omar Atubo, in Acholi, where you had Mao, Okero, Absalom Mongom in Western Nile. So almost every area has lost quality leaders. In Ankole, you can't compare the Matembes and the Yanyimas and the Zindana and the Mshegas with the crop that is in Ankole today. But also the quality of leadership of parliament. You can't compare my friend Anita Amongo to James Wapakaburo. So, in terms of experience, in terms of knowledge, so almost quite in every sphere of parliament is gone down. But they are more sycophantic, both of them. They think what Museveni says, their duty is to help it go through parliament without questioning. Both, they will consult, they will plead with you, but they will do the wrong thing. So in terms of the quality of MPs, in terms of quality of leadership, really, this is the worst in history. So there has been a campaign by Museveni in particular to devalue parliament by telling voters just elect anyone, as long as they can, whether they understand or not, as long as they vote NRM. People who are chairing committees of parliament are at a level of councillors. They don't do research, they have no knowledge, even the deployment. Late Jacob Olanya, who was a speaker, addressed himself to the issue of the quality of the bed. And he had set a standard that those who want to speak in parliament will have to do research. They will have to be factual. Unfortunately, Olanya died, succeeded by the Honorable Anita, who I don't think set the same standards. But also the quality of MPs. I have covered parliament as a journalist. I've been in parliament as an MP. The quality of MPs has gone down. If you compare the 6th and 7th parliament, where you had from Orango people like Ben Wacha, Dr. Okolo Park, Omar Atubo, in Acholi, where you had Mao, Okero, Absalom Mongom in Western Nile. So almost every area has lost quality leaders. In Ankole, you can't compare the Matembes and the Yanyimas and the Zindana and the Mshegas with the crop that is in Ankole today. So the quality of MPs has gone down, which means the quality of debate has gone down, but also the quality of leadership of parliament. You can't compare my friend Anita Amongo to James Wapakaburo. So, in terms of experience, in terms of knowledge, so almost quite in every sphere of parliament is gone down. I am happy with two things about this parliament. Both Anita Amongo and Taiwa have been keeping time. Under Kadaga, parliament is adjourned to 2:30. You are beginning at 5. So I am very happy, pleased by both for keeping time. And I have said it, put it on record, that I am very happy. They have weaknesses in other areas, but they have kept time. But maybe because they also know their weaknesses, they have been more consultative. Because at the time of Kadaga, she was looking at us as children. Kadaga is a mother. Yes, these are colleagues. We are at the same status. So these ones, maybe because of their knowledge of their weaknesses, have been more consultative than when you had Kadaga there. But they are more sycophantic, both of them. They think what Museveni says, their duty is to help it go through parliament without questioning. Both, they will consult, they will plead with you, but they will do the wrong thing. So in terms of the quality of MPs, in terms of quality of leadership, really, this is the worst in history. But one thing I need to say, in terms of delivery, if you look at the bills we've done, the motions, the processing of accountability committee reports, quantitatively a lot of work has been done. Quantitatively, then you measure the quality, but quantitatively work has been done. We do all the work of Parliament and on time.
So let us first get back to the issue of the MPs, the quality of MPs. These are people who are sent by the electorate. Does this imply that the dynamics of politics has changed? Even the people who send the MPs.
People view MPs differently. There has been a lot of publicity about how much money MPs get from Parliament. And President Museveni in particular has been going around saying, you vote anyone, even if he sleeps, as long as he wakes up and he votes NRM. So there has been a campaign by Museveni in particular to devalue Parliament by telling voters just elect anyone, as long as they can, whether they understand or not, as long as they vote NRM. But also the vulnerability of our people. There are people who buy their way into Parliament. I think more than half of MPs win elections because they have given voters money, they have handed out, they have used the handouts. Because the level of civic competence in Uganda, you cannot tell me it was better when they are choosing 6 and 7 parliament than today. Today we have more people who have gone to school. But those who chose the watchers, those in Uganda here, you had Sevana Chizito, Paulo Semogerere, Damiano Luega, and others, Kawanga and Masaka. So the level of civic competence is gone up, but the choices don't reflect that. Partly because people think Parliament is now just about money. You MPs are useless. Even when you said you're there, you're just enriching yourself. So that sort of campaign has worked on the psyche of the corporation. You are not judging the leadership, and I don't want to say that I'm judging only the speaker and deputy speaker. I'm also judging committees. People who are chairing committees of Parliament are at a level of councillors. They don't do research. They have no knowledge, even the deployment. Because NRM thinks to be a chair of a committee is a reward to loyalty. So they choose someone who can't chair a committee, and you go to attend a committee meeting, you find there a fellow who doesn't even know what he's doing. So the leadership has declined at all levels, whether it is committees, whether it is the speakership. So that's what I'm talking about. These ones, because the Speaker of Parliament can belong to a party. Wapakawulu was NRM, I think. But he attempted to be a neutral arbiter. I think these are vigilantes. Anita, Amongo and Taiwo are vigilantes. They think they are in Parliament to facilitate NRM, not to facilitate the country. Even a decision, because you see, people who read the answer will be embarrassed by the decisions we have made. I will tell you, we passed a budget in which we had removed the money from what we consider to be a luxury, to hospital, to seed schools, to ambulance. And Museveni said, you are tampering with my priorities, you must restore them. Anita Amongo came and said, we must restore the priorities of the president. What were the priorities? Giving money to Magora, 500 billion, giving money to Peneti. So I am not going to accuse them of partiality or impartiality. These are NRM vigilantes who think their duty is to ensure that NRM wins every decision that.
Yeah, but you legislators agree that the president is the substantial minister for finance.
The president, under the constitution, prepares a budget and presents to Parliament for approval. So Parliament should have the final say on behalf of the public. It's not that the president will have the final say. Parliament must have the final say when we are dealing with the appropriation bill. Some of them I don't see, I don't want to lie, that the leadership of Parliament is going to improve. That I am not sure. But still I want to encourage MPs to read the documents, because government, to their credit, supply Parliament with numerous tens and hundreds of documents about the economy, because look at the budget. An MP needs to understand that every decision he makes about budget has the effect of making one making the country. I'll give you an example. Every year in Uganda, 5 businesses that start every year in Uganda, 4 of them collapse. One of these ones because it's high taxation, a high cost of capital. So when you are parliament and you're authorizing government to borrow from the same market, means you are suffocating the enterprises that are going to the same banks to borrow money. But many MPs don't understand that. I don't know, even have institute, Kadaga decided what you call the Rebecca Kadaga Institute. I didn't like the name, but I liked the idea. I don't know if the MPs have the urge and drive to read this document, but also to read beyond parliament, so that they go to make a decision, because many MPs don't understand that decisions they make have implications. Maybe we need a whole week for orientation, get professors from universities to come and help them to understand, get technocrats. There are people in the government, civil servants who are hugely experienced, make MPs aware that decision. I was in Liberia. I went to visit Parliament. I met Honorable Dangos and he has staff. He told me every decision that as an MP makes will affect the country. So in Liberia, for every sitting of Parliament, you come with a document prepared by researchers showing implications of the decision that you are about to make. So you'd go and make a decision knowing that these are its implications. But yes, like a talk show, people just walk in. Even documents issued yesterday, people leave them at home. And they just walk in with bare hand that they have come to legislate for Uganda. In Zambia, the quality is far much better than ours. So people need to read, they need to be helped to read. I had proposed, I know it cannot work, that we should even be paid according to output. If you are an MP and you're doing nothing, why should they pay you all the money that they pay? But MPs, you're just laughing at me. The people who work hard, about 50 of them, they should be paid better than MPs who are doing nothing.
Looking at the consultative process, how can the House further enhance its consultations?
The trouble is that some of the resolutions, some of the bills presented in Parliament by government, they present them with a very strict timetable. They have brought a bill on Monday, they want it on Friday. Because in the past, committees of Parliament used to consult. For example, I used to sit on the Committee on Legal. You will have Law Society, you will have Uganda Law Reform Commission, you will have the Faculty of Law at Makerere, you will have lawyers like Sempewa and others. That seems to have gone away. They help you understand, because in the Parliament you are dealing with everything, including things that you know nothing about. I am not a lawyer, so if they have brought a law and I'm going to deal with it, I will benefit from lawyers explaining to me the implication of a law that I'm about to pass. This is a lot rushing. Almost everything in Parliament is being rushed, whether it is the budget, whether it is the law. We may need to go back to part of what Parliament used to do. You're even advertising in newspapers, calling for memoranda, calling people to come and appear before committees, conducting public hearings. That consultative way of doing work, I think, is slowly dying. It hasn't died completely, but slowly dying because of the NRM strict deadline. Sometimes the NRM government will go and sleep, and then they bring a loan request like the one of Pineti, and then they will tell you if you don't pass it today, there are fines to pay. So even if you want to do consultation, the time they have given you is not enough.
Just honorable, there's a legal provision that when Parliament passes resolutions, government has to act within 6 months to present maybe a report on the actions taken. What is your take on?
We by the way ask government, because the Prime Minister under our rules of procedure supposed to be reporting on action taken on decisions of Parliament. Action taken doesn't mean that actually they have taken action, just reporting. In Africa, it is only South African Parliament that went to court and won a case. Resolutions of Parliament in South Africa are not advisory. In Uganda, they are, with the exception of laws, budget, and so on and so forth. So even if you make a decision in Parliament, it doesn't have the effect of law. Government may choose to implement it, they may choose not to implement it, with the exception of laws, because once you have passed a law and the president has assented to it, that is a law. If you have passed a budget, it is only parliament that can change. The rest of the quality of MPs is gone down. If you compare the 6th and 7th parliament, where you had from Morango people like Ben Wacha, Dr. Okolo Park, Omar Atubo, in Acholi, where you had Mao Okero, Absalom Mongom in Western Nile. So almost every area has lost quality leaders. In Ankole, you can't compare the Matembes and the Yanyimas and the Zindana and the Mshegas with the crop that is in Ankole today. But also the quality of leadership of parliament. You can't compare my friend Anita Amongo to James Wapakaburo. So, in terms of experience, in terms of knowledge, so almost quality in every sphere of parliament is gone down. But they are more sycophantic, both of them. They think what Museveni says, their duty is to help it go through parliament without questioning. Both, they will consult, they will plead with you, but they will do the wrong thing. So in terms of the quality of MPs, in terms of quality of leadership, really, this is the worst in history. So there has been a campaign by Museveni in particular to devalue parliament by telling voters just elect anyone, as long as they can, whether they understand or not, as long as they vote NRM. People who are chairing committees of parliament are at a level of councillors. They don't do research, they have no knowledge, even the deployment.